The Elevator by William Sleator. In an old worn-out apartment building with creaky floors and cracked walls, there stood an elevator, small, narrow, and unsettling. It could carry no more than 3 people, and even that seemed like a stretch. From the very first day Martin and his father moved in, the boy had hated it. Martin was 12. Thin, quiet, and always a little uneasy. Elevators made him nervous in general, but this one felt worse. Maybe it was the dim, flickering light. Or the metallic slam of the door, which snapped shut like a mousetrap. Maybe it was how the elevator shook every time it moved, like it was gasping for breath. Or maybe it was just too tight, too close. Even with one other person, it felt cramped. He tried the stairs once. They were worse. The stairwell had no windows. The lights didn't work. His footsteps echoed strangely, bouncing off the concrete like someone, or something, was following close behind. By the time he climbed all 17 floors, Martin was panting. His father, who worked from home, looked at him disapprovingly. "Why didn't you take the elevator?" he asked, his face already saying the rest. "You are not only weak and bad at sports, Martin, you are afraid." From then on, Martin forced himself to use the elevator. Like everything else he dreaded, school bullies, gym class, loneliness, he told himself he'd just get used to it. But he didn't. He dreaded being trapped in the elevator alone. And yet, he didn't like riding with other people either. The way they stood in silence, pretending not to notice each other. It made his skin crawl. Then one morning, something changed. The elevator stopped at the 14th floor, and woman stepped in. She was enormous. Dressed in green coat that billowed around her like a balloon. Martin swore the elevator dipped under her weight as she entered. She didn't turn to face the doors. She turned to face him. And she stared. She didn't stop. Her cheeks were swollen. Her neck sagged into her collar. And her eyes, pale blue and glassy, were fixed on Martin like she was reading his thoughts. He turned his face away, but her gaze didn't move. It bored into him all the way down to the first floor. She never blinked. When the door opened, Martin didn't wait. He bolted out and ran all the way to school. He spent the whole day wondering, who was she? He'd never seen her before. The building wasn't that big. Was she visiting someone? At 7:30 in the morning? That afternoon, he took the elevator again, hoping he'd imagined it. But when it stopped on the 3rd floor, there she was. As if she'd been waiting. Her coat. Her face. Those same eyes. She stared as she stepped inside. Martin squeaked out, going up, but she said nothing. She pressed floor 18, the top floor, though she'd come from 14 that morning. Why change? Martin wanted to escape. To press another button, to run. But he was cornered. There was no way around her. And when the elevator finally stopped at 17, his floor, she barely moved to let him out. He brushed against her coat as he slipped past. It scratched his skin. She turned as the doors shut and watched him the entire time. Now, she knew where he lived. That night, he asked his father, "Have you ever noticed a strange lady in the elevator?" His father barely looked away from the TV. "Can't say I have." Martin tried to explain. "She's been in the elevator with me twice today. She just keeps staring. The whole ride. She doesn't even blink." His father sighed. "Afraid of some poor old woman now?" "I'm not afraid." "You are afraid," his father snapped. "When are you going to grow up and stop acting like a little boy?" Martin said nothing. But later, alone in his room, he cried quietly. The next morning, the elevator door opened, and there she was. Smiling. Martin couldn't move. Then he backed away. The door slammed shut with her still inside. He ran to the stairs. but the stairwell was dark. One misstep, and he fell hard. At the hospital, his father was silent. Angry. Disappointed. Martin had broken his leg. And now, he couldn't take the stairs. He was trapped. Back home, crutches under his arms, he felt a small comfort. At least his father would ride the elevator with him from now on. But as they neared the 9th floor, his father remembered something. "I promised to visit Mrs. Ullman," he said. "I'll be quick." The doors opened. His father stepped out. "Let me come with you," Martin begged. The doors began to close. Afraid to be in the elevator alone, his father scoffed. "Grow up, Martin." The doors clanged shut. Martin reached for the buttons, desperate. He pressed 9. But it didn't stop there. It stopped at 10. And she was waiting. The green coat. The heavy breathing. The eyes that never looked away. She stepped inside. Martin tried to leave, but she was faster. The door sealed behind her. "Hello, Martin," she whispered. And then, she laughed. Her hand reached for the stop button. And she pressed it. And that's the story of Martin and the elevator. Some fears you can escape. Others ride with you. So, what would you do if the elevator doors opened, and someone inside already knew your name? If this story gave you chills, just wait, there's more where that came from. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride, and don't forget to subscribe for more spine-tingling tales, psychological thrillers, and airy encounters you won't forget. And hey, if you are still curious, check out the other stories waiting on my channel. Just remember, next time you take the elevator, don't ride alone.